So Bernie Sanders is a Democrat in the Senate, and recently he was on TV talking about this new big stimulus package that he's trying to get pushed, and he's trying to push this through Congress, and he's trying to get all his Democrats on board to try to get this new stimulus package moving forward.
For us to stand up for the working class of this country and tell the billionaires that they're going to have to start paying their fair share of tax. What we are talking about is not simply a laundry list of...
I think one of the things that Bernie kind of misses in his whole debate about taxing the billionaires is that the issue is not really taxing more billionaires. The issue is that government spends too much when they take in. And if you tax the billionaires at 100%, like if you took everything they owned, or everything they brought in, if you taxed them 100%, it would only fund government for the next 8 months. So the issue is that Bernie needs to say, hey, maybe we should eliminate some of these government programs first before we start to send out more checks.
Wish list. It is the needs of the American people. We will no longer continue to have the highest rate of childhood poverty of almost any major country on earth. And that's why with the American Rescue Plan and those $300 direct payments, we have cut childhood poverty in America in half, and we ain't going back. We want to further reduce childhood poverty in this country.
The American Families Plan is going to extend out the child tax credit, $300 a month every month for children under 6, and then $250 for 6 between 6 and 17. So those payments would go out on a monthly basis. That would be another reoccurring payment coming in. There's about 40 million people that are going to receive that. Also, I think in the new plan will be a Support Act. That Support Act will hopefully get more payments out on a consistent monthly basis other than people that have children.
And if we don't pass the Build Back America plan, poverty for kids will go up. We have a dysfunctional child care system where working families are paying 20, 30% of their limited incomes for child care. Workers are paid starvation wages, and millions of women are unable to go to work because they can't afford child care. That is absurd. We are going to make sure that no family in America pays more than 7% of their incomes for child care. We're going to make pre-K universal and free.
So Bernie Sanders, he's going to push for more stimulus. He's one of the big proponents of taxing everybody and just redistributing that money to everybody else. And that's fine if you want to do that, and that's great. But the problem is you can't tax everybody 100%. The issues that Bernie's not reflecting or not understanding is that inflation is going to increase or decrease the purchasing power of the dollar. One of the groups is the Senior Citizens League. They're proposing a $1,400 payment for senior citizens. There may be good reason to get the money. Social Security checks are slated to go up 5.9%, the biggest increase in nearly 40 years. That translates to an extra $92 per check. However, inflation threatens to eat most of that increase. The Consumer Price Index rose 5.4% in December from a year ago, the biggest increase in 13 years. So that's the issue right now. I think that a lot of the senior citizens are having is that actually the inflation is going up by 10 or 11%. So that's something that the inflation is rising, and they're going to have to figure out a way to increase the payments even more. Something Bernie really doesn't talk about is the fact that they print more money, they inflate the money supply, and that devalues the currency, and then everybody's affected by that. It's not just the lower middle class, it's billionaires. Obviously, billionaires can afford to pay more money at the grocery store, but it's the lower class and the middle class that get affected by inflation the most. And so I think he's on the right track of trying to help people, but I think he's on the wrong track of understanding that inflation's going to be even worse than actually just taxing everybody and redistributing that wealth. So some of you might be looking for checks in your states. Every state received billions of dollars, and some of the states are actually using the money to do other stuff. The state of Alabama, the governor there is going to take the relief money that's supposed to go out to citizens, and they're going to improve prisons in that state. I'm not sure why they want to do that. There should be stimulus checks going out to people. One of the other two states is Arizona and Connecticut. They're going to incentivize people to go back to work, which I like the idea. I think right now there's 11 million jobs out there, and people aren't filling those jobs because last month there was 194,000 people that did not receive or did not get back in the workforce, and that was it. It was 194,000. So out of 11 million, if they incentivize people to go back to work with that, those checks, they would say, hey, here's $1,200, go back to work. That would incentivize the economy. That would get people back to work. That would move people in the right direction. Some of the other states, California, they're already sending out those Golden State stimulus payments, $600 and then $500 for the dependents. So if you do live in California, you're going to be receiving a stimulus check. You may have already received that. If you did file your returns before the 15th, then you are eligible for that, and you also have to live in the state of California for that. And then Colorado looks like they're sending out $375 payments. Again, Connecticut has that back to work plan, which I like. I think it's a good program. I hope it succeeds in Arizona and Connecticut. And then some of the other states, Florida, they're sending out $1,000 checks to teachers and frontline workers, policemen. There's also firemen. They're all getting a stimulus check in Florida. Georgia and Tennessee, Maryland, Michigan, they're all sending out stimulus checks to teachers in those states. Every state has some type of program they're going to be coming forth and doing. It's just a matter of when they're going to come out and do this. They have another couple of months until the end of the year to get their stimulus checks programs underway. If they don't, then they have to send that money back, I think, to the federal government. Now, I don't know if they have to spend the full amount, but I think they have to at least have some type of stimulus program in the state to try to stimulate those economies. Again, to me, if they really want to stimulate the economy, get people back to work, that's going to get people turning through the job sector and all that. It's going to get maybe manufacturing going. Just handing out people checks is not going to, they're not going to go spend it. In fact, they're going to probably go and spend it on investments, which is fine, but investments aren't really helping the economy out. I always recommend, the inflation is going up so high right now, it's going up so fast, that I try to recommend people to get into some hard assets. If you can, get into gold and silver. If you can, pick up some cryptos. It's going to hold the value of your currency. So if you have money in the bank account at inflation at 11%, that means the dollars are losing 11% in purchasing power every year if that's the inflation cost. The federal government, they're going to say that it's only increasing by 2%. That's not true. The inflation right now is absolutely skyrocketing because of the amount of money that they printed during this pandemic. And it doesn't look like the Federal Reserve is going to raise interest rates at all to try to weigh in some of this currency. So it's so important that people try to pick up some of this extra hard assets. Gold and silver has always been great. You can go to a local gold coin dealer in your area and you can just pick up some gold coin. You don't have to buy a full ounce. You can buy maybe a percentage of an ounce, like a quarter of an ounce, little coins. That's why I like crypto, because you can buy just a small fraction of whatever the crypto is. To me, some of the BTC is going to be the biggest one because it's so decentralized. I go with the top one right now, BTC, and I stay away from all the other ones. Just the fact that the BTC is proven. You can store your value there, and you won't get devalued inside of sitting in a bank. But if you leave it in the bank, the purchasing power is going to continue to drop and drop, especially those that are on fixed income. Those of you that are Social Security and you're on those fixed incomes, if you can just put a little percentage away to try to just hold on to that purchasing power, because right now it's going crazy. You go to the grocery store and prices are up 10, 11% on a lot of the groceries, gas prices, everything, travel, it's all gone up. Yeah, they've flooded the whole economy with more money, but that doesn't translate into people making more money. The wages are still low. So try to pick up those assets, because they're going to be sending out more checks. They're going to be sending out more checks probably in this new American Families Plan. And if you get more checks from the federal government, try to take that, put it into some hard assets. That way you get those purchasing powers held on to, and just won't get evaporated through inflation. And that's what's happening right now. But I think a lot of these other states are going to start to come out their own programs. New Mexico is sending out checks to the people in their state. You have some of the other places that are just trying to figure out what are they going to do with their stimulus money. Every state has some money. Every governor has money, and every legislator knows that there is stimulus money sitting in the treasuries, and they need to spend that money before the 31st if they're going to do that. But an actual fourth stimulus check, I think Nancy Pelosi is going to have to sneak that into some type of support act, try to sneak that into some kind of bill, and then that's when a fourth stimulus check would be going out to everybody, and they'll try to direct deposit that or send those out in checks.